Bonjour.
Welcome, everybody, to the SCA Wheels podcast, episode number 14, where for some reason Julian's camera has decided it doesn't want to work properly.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you're all pixelated. But let's leave it
Ah.
like this because it's making me laugh.
I look like Japanese porn. That's good. I'm, yeah,
It's
I'm
quite funny. Oh, it's getting
parents in
better.
Japan.
What, sorry?
I'm Japan. Wait. I need a douche. Oh no, here you are.
I love this language play of yours that you have. You
French
constantly
means a shower.
Yeah, well,
But I
douche
just
in
called you a
German.
douche.
Douche is shower in German as well. So I'm not
Oh,
unfamiliar. But
okay.
it's always funny, like through the podcast when when I'm saying, "Oh yeah, a little bit," and then you're just like, because for those of you that don't know, bit in French is dick, right?
Yes.
So you can, when you're sitting in class or in a meeting and somebody says, "Oh yeah, a little bit," you can just remove yourself from the situation and laugh at tiny cocks.
Yeah. Well, at the same time, you know how to call yourself in a mirror in every language, so it's good.
Fantastic. I love it.
Okay, let's get going with this
Yeah.
this podcast.
I don't know where to start. Julian and I have had sort of upgrades to our apartments. Both of us bought sim racing rigs, and Julian's also got his new gaming rig on order as well. So
There it is.
yeah, it's beautiful, isn't it? You went hard out with all the accessories though.
Oh yeah.
Oh no, I can't hear you for some reason.
Ah, wait.
Okay.
I know why.
Okay.
Hold on a second.
Well,
It's not gonna be.
while you're fixing technical difficulties, you'll be pleased to announce my week of sobriety is over. So I'm now going to crack open a bottle of wine and proceed to pour it on stream as Julian does, I don't know what, maybe readjusts his little bit.
I'm readjusting a little bit. Yes.
Oh, I don't want to think about that. But yeah, I don't know where to start. But like as I said, Julie and I both got upgrades, and I think we'll get to that in a minute. But we didn't have a race last week, Formula One race last week.
Yeah, the only race we had was online.
Yeah, we did. So I guess we're really only going to be covering the Nurburg-rain, and anybody that has actually tuned in will notice the stream name is called the Nurburg-rain because free practice 1 and free practice 2 have been rained out.
And it's not funny if you have to explain the joke.
No, it's not. But I mean, this is predominantly a gaming platform. So it'd be very interesting to I suppose people that aren't, people that know Formula One or any kind of racing.
And is that why you have green behind you? Is the Nurburg-rain? Is that the joke as well that you're trying to,
the green hell?
Yeah, you're not subtle.
No, I'm not subtle.
About your joke.
I'm not subtle about the joke. It's like when I say you love Nico Rosberg, and I come with a Nico Rosberg T-shirt and then a portrait of you and Nico.
And this is where I regret that comeback when you call me, "Are you okay, Rosberg?" When you called me Rosberg for coming second at the Mario Kart or whatever it was.
Oh yeah.
And I'm still beating you like, I don't know, 100 to 10 or something like this.
Oh, that number, every time you bring it up, that number just keeps growing a bit bigger. Do you do that with your penis size as well?
Well,
you gotta be at
ask your mom.
You gotta be at 37 inches now when you talk about it. Is that right?
That's how I got this, man.
Oh yeah.
every time I see your mom, I do 10 push-ups.
Yeah. Well, I suppose to be able to go see her through COVID, you must be pretty hung, right?
So I don't even remember what I was saying.
Rosberg, something like that.
And I forgot to call you Weber.
Why Weber?
because he's the angry bloke, right? That always comes second.
I'm not an angry bloke, am I?
No, but you always fall short of expectations.
Thank you. You're so kind.
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. No, we've been having a blast. Everybody should get a driving wheel. It's just so much fun.
Yeah. Last night we you know, yeah, Friday I was actually supposed to come back a bit earlier from work because Fridays we're
Because
like a
Friday,
yeah, because Fridays
there's no explanations necessary. It's
yeah,
Friday.
yeah, yeah. And it ended up being me leaving a lot later, about 2 hours later than I wanted to because we had to do a lot of preparation for some
What?
presentation we
You
got to
left at 2 p.m.?
But, all that aside, so I came back and I was just, like, frantically unlike my, Julian's rig, which is a rigid fixed rig, I've got one of those Next Level Racing GT Light
Mine's
one,
rigid, guys. You heard it on this podcast
a
first.
rigid rig. Mine's floppy, so no, but I
Some
got
say flaccid,
because
but
as Julian likes to make fun of the size of my apartment being quite small, I've actually got a fold-away rig that I can just put away and whatnot, because every time I set it up, I have to actually do some, like, interior designing and move couches and tables and shit so I can get it in front of the TV. So we did a brief 1.5 hour stream where you can clearly see like my shirt is covered in sweat, and I just sort of like try not to draw attention to it. So if you actually go back and watch the stream, it's like you can see all these big like I've sweat myself a bra kind of thing because I was frantically setting it up. So yeah, anyway, but it doesn't come down.
a regular Friday night for Eric. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. That's exactly it. But it's a lot of fun. And like honestly, I was saying to Julian before we started the stream, I was back in Australia, I had no one actually to play this with. And
You had no
it,
one to play. How sad.
yeah, how
Do
sad.
you have
But
a sad music? Actually, we should put some sound effects now. We should
yeah.
we should both have sound effects that we can play during the stream because it's
Now
like
now now you're making justification for me getting a Go XLR, which is like a soundboard, like a mixer with a soundboard on it, so I can put noises in it. So, yeah, let's spend more money. It's great. But now that I'm playing against Julie, I'm like, oh shit, I can play again. I'm playing with somebody that's actually talented at driving. So I'm sort of like trying to up my
Thank you
racing
very
chops.
much. I think that should be underlined.
Yeah.
I'm that good that I can play Project Cars, which is the game we play together. At 75% of the AI. So I'm very, very good. I think nobody else can do that in the world.
Nobody. Yeah,
Uh,
exactly. Absolutely nobody can.
no, guys, I suck.
You heard it. You heard it here
I
first.
suck at it. I'm just I just love playing. And with the rig, it's just very enjoyable. The experience is really nice. And yes, just to get back and look at it.
It's all about that
I
sim
just
experience,
those accessories because that's the Thrustmaster, the
Yeah, the
T300. That's the
T300.
one you
Yeah,
have as well, yeah.
yeah. I got the
And
T300.
it's the regular pedals. I think I'm going to change the pedals quite soon. I think it's probably going to take about 20 to 30 minutes. I'm going to change the pedals to something a little better. But seriously, the gear shift, the gear lever here, that's really high quality. It's
Yeah.
really good. So eventually, I want to change to Fanatec to direct drive wheel. I will keep this, and that which can be changed from a handbrake to a sequential gear shift
Mm.
is extremely high quality. Seriously, it's all
Is
aluminium.
it Thrustmaster or who made
Yeah,
those?
Thrustmaster,
It's all Thrustmaster.
Thrustmaster.
Okay.
With together. This one is together with Sparkle.
Mm.
The gear, I'm not too sure who they did it with. I think they did it themselves actually. So it's
Yeah.
really good. I've got that wheel, which is the Sparkle wheel as well with Alcantara.
Yeah.
Which is nice. It just gets your hands, a bit dirty. And I've got the F1 wheel as well.
Yeah, I've seen the F1 wheel actually available, right? At the store I bought my rig. And I actually forgot to pick it up, but I picked. I'll have to pick it up because I want to give it a go. The Ferrari F1 wheel, but the stock wheel, the PlayStation branded one that's on mine, it's like a rubber,
Yeah.
and I know it's not going to last because as I'm driving, like my hands feel kind of gritty after, like I've
You
been
know, that's
playing.
normal. I had
It's
the same thing with the Logitech wheels. You know, it
yeah,
does this a little bit for in the beginning, basically. After it gets better. I also have that wheel actually. It's just I put it to the side because I really like the Sparko. It's the
mm,
Rally Cross, yeah, the Rally wheel.
yeah, yeah.
WRC, but yeah, I think wheel. It's really good. It's 1 inch bigger.
Oh, is it?
Um, yeah, it's 14 inches, where versus like 13 inches, I think, for the standard wheel.
Yeah, I don't think
Um,
I could go much bigger on mine. The reason being, like, I'm quite tall and fat, so I don't
you're
really
not
fit in my.
fat, but
I don't really fit in my. Well, it's more my legs. If I don't have the
but you.
seat in a particular position, my knees hit the wheel.
Mm,
So
mm,
I can't imagine what it'd be like if.
Most of your ex-girlfriends said, it would be nice if you could would go 1 inch more, because
Yeah,
4 inches would be nice. Um,
yeah. Hey,
is what they said.
I'm trying to catch up. I'm trying to catch up, all right?
Yeah, yeah,
The
catch up,
zingers are
catch
gonna
up, catch up.
come. They're just let's.
Oh, you think it's because I'm a bit? Yeah, well, I am a bit tipsy
No,
again,
I know what you're like. It does. There's no difference between you drunk
and undrunk.
and undrunk. You're just you're fun, 24 hours a day.
Oh, you're being so nice between the driving and me being fun. What are
Am
you
I?
trying to do?
I don't know. I've already got you in bed, so I don't know why I'm being nice.
In a taxi of all places.
Yeah. Yeah. Um.
Hello, mom.
But you know what I realized this afternoon, because you actually we played a little bit this morning, and you had to disappear for family things, and I realized we haven't done Spa yet.
No, we haven't. And I've been wondering why, actually, because I thought,
That's exactly what happened to me. I'm just
you know,
sitting there going,
we've done,
why have we done Spa yet?
yeah, we've done the Nordschleife, which I love, to be honest. We've done the Circuit de la Sarthe, Le Mans, which you love. And the one really, like, for me, in the center of this all is Spa, where we both
Yeah,
have, at least equal liking for that track,
yeah.
which is it's
It
just
is. It's a
it's such a nice
tough
track.
track. Like I've been playing it in a GT3 car. It is tough. Like through Eau Rouge, you have to.
Radillon.
Yeah. Okay. You have at the bottom of the hill. You got to touch the brake, and you can't be in too. Your revs can't be too high if you're in fifth, or you've got to be in fourth. At least the way I play, because otherwise you're gonna like understeer off straight into the left barrier.
Yeah, I think
It's so different from like a super high downforce car.
I actually at Spa I do prefer to play the high downforce cars because you can actually take it flat out if you just do what you said, like if you can rotate the car uh just at the just after Eau Rouge, so after that that
The
little
dip, yeah.
stream,
Yeah.
so when you get the compression, just before you get to the right to Radillon,
Yeah.
like this, that then it's really it's so rewarding is what it
It
is,
is.
and it's I don't
That
know how
is
to explain
that
it.
is rewarding. It is so rewarding when you hit
Mm,
that first apex on the left, and then you take it out. Like, well, actually, first apex in on the right, and then you go wide to the apex on the left, and then you sort of curve around to that straight. When you get that right, that is so rewarding. But that fucking chicane after it, oh my god.
yeah, that break zone is very hard to judge right.
It is such a high speed track and a low speed track.
Well, the
That
thing
the
is,
last chicane before the pit,
oh yeah, the last one, yeah, is very slow.
that's like a first gear chicane. Like,
Yeah. The thing is, I'm still struggling a little bit myself because I mean the game is new, so like every
yeah,
game have a bit of a difference in how they set up the track, and Obviously the rig is very new, but I'm playing on the laptop for the time being, waiting for my PC to arrive. And the thing is, on the laptop, I really have to play extremely low everything.
Yeah.
So it's really hard for me to find, that how do you say the visual cues, to judge my braking
Yeah.
area.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to do it with timing,
Mm.
but the thing is, every time, okay, let's say what you were saying, Radillon, okay, I can make it a bit faster. So I'm going to be accelerating earlier, and I'm going to be earlier at the end of that straight. So
Yeah.
it's really hard to kind of judge. And yeah, at the moment, I can't wait to get that new machine where I'm going to have, I'm going to be able to play full on everything.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a 2080 Super in that thing, so I mean, you're set.
yeah, it should be fine to.
That thing, short of like regular wear and tear and all that other stuff, is gonna last you at super high specs for 5, 6, 7 years. I mean, that's you
Well,
just
yeah, I mean, you know us, it's gonna take probably 1 year. Yeah, 1 year would be good. Because then it's
what?
gonna be a 3080. There's the Ryzen 5000 coming out. There's all of that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna want to do this. I'm really into Sims.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm gonna play. Although you do play with Karin. Sorry, with Dole. You do play other games like first person shooters and that sort of thing, or I don't. How Destiny?
Yeah.
How
Destiny
would
2.
you describe it?
It's
Or
like
what kind
a
of genre is it?
it's like an open world RPG kind of thing, and then I also play Rust as well, which is
Yeah.
again, it's more of an open world survival game.
The
So
Rust is unbelievably dull to me, but anyway, just on this, I don't play those games so much. I want to play Sims, so
yeah.
for me it's going to be this and probably Flight Simulator. I'm gonna play that a little bit as well. I guess
It's
I'm
funny,
gonna
even that
re. Sorry,
flights, because I mean, you're a pilot as well, right?
I'm a fully licensed plane pilot.
Yeah.
Yes,
That's one of the things with
I'll be
that's one
back.
of no problem. That's one of the things, like Flight Simulator as a game, seems to be one of those, it's built for hardware that doesn't exist yet. So even the last Flight Simulator game, like on 2080s, like running at 30 or 25 frames a second is considered fine.
But that's well, okay. This is right and this is wrong. Um, when you're flying, I mean, when you're doing this kind of game, and if you're doing it real time, there's only a certain speed you can achieve, right?
Yeah.
So the thing is, okay, when playing Doom Eternal or something like this, playing at 240 frame per second is like, wow, really nice, and the experience is really nice and
There's
everything.
a lot
You're
happening on
flying a
screen.
plane. The things, especially most of those are like, in Flight Simulator, those are commercial planes. Those things don't react. Like it's not like you do this and the plane goes like this.
Yeah.
Like you're flying. I mean, the only, I would say the only threshold is anything smaller than a 737 or an A320. It's gonna probably, yeah, when you give it a bit of an input, it's gonna react
Hmm.
quite quickly. Anything above this, you do this, okay, then it goes.
Yeah.
And it doesn't bank so much. It doesn't. So it's the same thing with speed and frame per second. This is not the point of that game, is
Yeah.
what I'm saying. It's just, it's not. It's a simulation, and that's the way they do it. Those car racing game that we're playing as well. You can play them with a 1080. You can play them with a 1060 actually, without
Hmm.
any problems. You're going to still be running, way over 60 frame a second, which is, what people usually have when playing on TV, for example, which I'm doing right now.
Yeah.
I mean,
You know
for the
what
time
though?
being. But
You
what I'm
know how you, uh, sorry, go on and I'll get to my point.
what I'm saying is that this is really not the point of this. What's genius about flight simulator right now, and what I want to do is that it connects to whatever technology, whether it's Google Earth or whatever. I don't know what it connects to, but you're actually flying the world, and you're actually have real traffic in real
Yeah.
time,
Yeah, real-time traffic.
around you, and that is what is the true simulation side of things. Being able to maintain 50 frame a second, 60 frame a second. Yeah, the 30 60, 30 70, 30 80, and 30 90, they're able to do this probably. But
Probably.
who cares? Who cares? Like it's that's not the point of this.
Yeah.
That's not the point of that sim. If you're trying to play it from a performance perspective, there are so many other things also in your PC that probably will be the bottleneck, other than the graphics card. It's going to be your processor, of course, your RAM, but even your internet connection can be somehow a little bit of a bottleneck there.
Well,
So it's just
apparently, if you kill the live traffic and the live weather and all that other stuff, it actually makes it run better. It's just
yeah,
like you
because
said, it's
that's
just a game that's built for hardware that doesn't exist, and it seems to historically have always been like this.
yeah. Even when that happens, you're going to play 120 frame per second for landing. It's not going to change your experience of it, because the people who do sims that way and flight sims seriously, that's not what they're after.
Yeah.
So I might have a second rig just for flight simulator
Well,
with the
Thrustmaster
whole
actually
thing, and
make the full rigs
they
and
do,
everything. Yeah.
they do, they do, they do.
So
I
I
just
mean,
have to choose: am I going to go Airbus or Boeing?
yeah,
If I want
but
to crash a lot, probably Boeing.
yeah, but that's one of the things I was actually going to bring up is the fact that I was because I've got when I'm playing, obviously I'm just outputting my laptop to the TV. And my laptop's pretty beefy, but it when I look across to my laptop while we're playing playing Forza, not Forza, Project Cars, I can really see a difference between the quality because mine's a 1440p 160 hertz screen, and then I look at the TV and it's like, fuck me, the difference is huge.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm like, when the VR eventually comes along, then it's going to be like next level immersion. You know.
Yeah, and I've been advised the HTC Vive for this. And again,
Yeah,
I
that's what I
understand
was
when you're
looking at
flying
too.
planes, but unless you're flying planes like close to the ground, you play close to the ground, maybe 1,000 feet or something like this, and try to look at all the landscape and the buildings around and everything load and all of that. Okay, then in that case, maybe having more frame rates is okay. But seriously, you don't fly planes at 1,000 feet unless you're landing or taking off. That's the only time they actually cross those. So
Mm,
again, for the people who really playing the sim aspect of it, yes. If you want to race and get a game that gets you a bit more excited, just play something else, because that's not the purpose of that sim anyway.
yeah, exactly. Exactly. Hang on a second. Open up the door. This corner seems to be a Wi-Fi dead spot for my laptop, so it's dropping frames, but it's all right.
That's okay.
Yeah, but
Oh, because we're streaming, we're live, baby.
we are live. We
Any
are.
anybody on the chat?
Nobody is on the chat.
Guys,
I
are
didn't.
how many of those do we have to do before people come in to say hello?
Does it matter? We're just here to hang out, right?
No, but I'm just wondering.
We'll talk
Because it would
about
be
it.
nice to take the piss out of them as well, no?
Yeah, or have them join in. I mean,
I
that's
think maybe
fine.
they're shy.
Maybe.
Mm.
But yeah, I mean, the sim racing has been a lot of fun. We're obviously. I don't know. I don't know if I'll stream it um, after the podcast, but we're going to play again straight after the podcast.
Yeah, who cares? Whether you're gonna stream it or not, just for the fun of it, and I think we're pretty much the same level, so it's fun to do it. Really fun to do it.
Yeah.
And yeah, I cannot recommend it I just said it already maybe 2 times, right? We twice is what we say in English, right? But I cannot recommend this enough. Guys, get a rig. It's just so much fun.
Oh yeah.
Forget about saving to buy yourself a Porsche or something like this, or a fun car or some. With this kind of rig, you can play with your friends. You can crash. You can do anything you want. Um, and it's a lot cheaper than a car to
Yeah.
maintain. So yeah,
It is
do
fun
that.
though. I mean, it is a never-ending cycle. I mean, you can keep going higher and higher. Like I'm not gonna even consider a direct drive wheel until I move out of this place because
Okay,
one of the things I've discovered is even not the
you're
fan.
next level, man.
Yeah, but is that
I need
cheap
a
in
new place because I want to play games.
Yeah, or is it like at that stage? Is it like is the Porsche just cheaper?
But I must say that's how we designed the apartment. In the
Yeah,
apartment, I said I want a game room, and I want a game room to have my rig to play car um, racing
yeah,
sims, and um, yeah, that's the way it turned out. But I'm nowhere near finished with my rig. I was mentioning I want to go direct drive. I'm going to change the whole rig because I want it to move as well, and I
yeah.
want the
Well,
VR.
you know why when I was saying like I don't necessarily want to even consider direct drive until I like move or the apartment's reconfigured or whatever, and the reason is because the what is it the direct drive, and even when you go a step higher, because there is higher than Fanatec. I mean, you've got
Well, there is.
yeah, like very high.
No, no. The only reason why I would go Fanatec is because it's consumer grade in the way it will be,
It's prosumer grade.
pre.
Yeah,
Sorry.
prosumer.
Yeah, prosumer if you like, but the thing is, it's well accepted, as in you'll have a lot of people having it, which is gonna really help in making it compatible with a lot of games, with lots of default settings that I
Yeah,
don't have to tweak all the time myself
yeah.
every time I start a new game. You know
Because
what I mean?
those other like truly pro systems, like even the Formula One drivers just run Fanatec and stuff at home.
Yeah,
But like Lando Norris just runs Fanatec. But with the other ones, they take a lot of setting up. Like
yeah.
you actually need to properly set them
Yeah,
up.
those sim racing or whatever
Yeah.
sim one, but they're incredible. Don't get
Mm.
me wrong. The only thing is that I don't want to spend my whole time setting up
Yeah.
everything,
Because I mean those
because I suck at it. Because I don't have the patience to do it, to
because
be honest.
those next level up ones when you go beyond Fanatec systems. I mean, the one I was watching today online, that thing runs like 30 Newton meters of torque through the wheel. That's
Yeah,
just insane. That's like
but
breaking.
it's too much. I mean, the Fanatec one, that can run up to 22, I think, Newton
Yeah,
meters, which is, at the end of the day, it's it will break your wrists if you put it to 100% and
yeah,
try to resist it.
yeah, yeah.
So at the end of the day, this is like running. It's not a relevant metric anymore.
Hmm.
What you want to be looking at is going to be your latency. The way it
Yeah,
comes
yeah,
back to
yeah,
you, like in the reaction time of the wheel itself, and those are really important ones. But for me, the real important fact is that with having a Fanatec, it's going to be used by so many people all that most games that come out will already have it.
yeah,
That's what I
yeah,
like about Project Cars. I was playing Assetto Corsa. Assetto Corsa is better than Project Cars in my view. Um, but the thing is, the way you have to set up the wheel and everything is a bit more cumbersome. With
yeah,
Project Cars, you just plug it in and done.
yeah.
And I'm not saying it's difficult on Assetto Corsa. But you have to go through that process, right?
Hmm.
And for me, it bothers me because I want to plug it in and I want to play.
Yeah,
I don't want to spend all that time, just making it blah 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 blah. I don't
exactly.
have that and it's the default of my qualities perhaps, but no, I'm really impatient. So yeah, just want to.
Yeah,
I want to play. I'm gonna play 30 minutes, but I want to play the whole 30 minutes. I don't want to spend 5 minutes setting up things.
Yeah,
At
and see
what is me.
that's the thing. I was actually going back to the torque thing. I couldn't run a high torque rig on well, a high torque setup on my rig because there's just so much torque, it would shake it apart.
Mm.
So, like even like your one would be able to handle it because it's like it's
Probably not. Actually, I was just looking at it right now. Um, Probably not. It's pretty sturdy. It's made in Thailand.
mm,
It's when you look at the I'm gonna I'm gonna show it right now. But when you look at the the tubes, they're pretty good, pretty thick actually. I must say as well. And it really doesn't move much, but if I press like this, I can move it a little bit. I can
yeah,
just ever so slightly, maybe 2 millimeter,
yeah,
just with like 3 fingers like this, putting my weight on it. Um, no, I want something different, and for me, basically my budget for my rig is about 40,000 USD,
mm,
and I'm gonna do it like this because I want VR, I want the movement, I want the direct drive, I want the whole thing.
yeah.
But I want someone who's gonna come here, which is something we can do here in Thailand. Someone who's gonna come here and set it up for me.
Yeah. So that's the difference. Like you ordered your system and then people came and built it and everything for you.
Yeah.
I just bought all the hardware and had to build it myself and Jesus Christ, that was a nightmare.
Sorry, this one is not 40,000 USD, but the one that I want ultimately is 40,000 USD. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna have it. I'm just making sure. Well, Alex is a bit short to play this one for the time being, but he can play with the wheel already. He can, we're putting like a pillow and everything. But once he does, anyway, he's gonna go into karting.
Mm,
And as he grows, he's going to have a lot of simulator playing. So if he really enjoys it, yeah, I will definitely invest that money into this
yeah.
because it's
Oh,
nothing compared to where I want to get him if
yeah.
he wants to race. So
Well,
we're going to get
exactly.
him with some, like if it's investing into him so that he can spend time in Europe to be racing. That's what we're going to do.
I think it's a good idea and I'm all behind it. So, hope Alex does really well with it.
Well, you know what? I thought he would be the first Thai driver in Formula One to actually, well, win a race, but win a world championship. There's
I
already
go with
another
that.
Alex at the moment,
Yeah.
but it really seems coming back into Formula One and with the announcement again of Honda pulling out. I'm actually wondering whether Formula One has a future.
Me too. I was actually wondering that myself.
Mm.
It's funny. I know you don't like listening to hear me talking about him, but I was actually listening to Nico Rosberg's podcast, and he
I
had
gotta go.
yeah, but he had Bernie Ecclestone on it, and it was really
Bernie
interesting.
Ecclestone.
Ecclestone, whatever.
Yeah.
Uh, but it was really interesting to hear Bernie's take on everything, because he ultimately he understands it's an entertainment sport. He understands that there is a lot of problems as well, like the regs. And he does say they just need somebody to take over and make it happen, which he believes Ross Brawn is doing.
Okay.
In the
Good.
sense as a being what's his title, Ross Brawn? Is it
Technical
technical?
advisor,
Yeah,
no?
something like that. But bringing ground effect back is going to be really good for the sport. I think you're going to see.
It's going to be good for following, and I think yeah, yeah. And I didn't hear this, and sorry to interrupt you again, but for me, it's not about this. It's about the relevance of what pushes you, what is behind the driver, the relevance of that engine technology. What is the relevance right now of having an overcomplicated hybrid engine? Is that really what's going to happen? When you look at Honda, I think the next regulation is going to be 2025 for engines or 2026 or whatever. But with Honda coming or pulling out, that means they're pulling out at the end of 2021, right? That means that if somebody wanted to come in, why would they come in 2021?
Well, see
If the
that's
new regulations for engines is going to be in 2025, I think it is. So they wouldn't invest for a totally new engine in 2025. And again, those engines, the ones that we have currently, what's the relevance of those ones?
yeah. Well, see the funny thing is, I was watching Super GT, the Japanese GT series. So if you
Oh,
go to the
not the streamer on YouTube. Who is a good one to follow as well?
yeah no, but if you know the race,
Yeah.
on their YouTube channel, they basically stream all the races live, and so I learnt a lot from that. So and because it's live, people get to ask questions and stuff, and they answer them. And somebody mentioned something about what's going to happen with Honda, because Honda are actually still very active in racing, and they're probably actually going to go NASCAR racing next year as well, which is interesting.
The decision from Honda to pull out is not a financial decision. At least that's
Hmm.
what they said. It's really because they want to become carbon neutral by 2050.
Yeah, but see, that's the
Um,
thing. They're still talking about joining NASCAR, which is interesting.
yeah, but the
And the,
thing is, again, that's where I come back to the relevance of that engine.
yeah, and see, this is where what else I thought was quite interesting is that there's rumors that Mugen will take over managing and developing that engine. It won't be a Honda project. It is the Honda project, and we know that basically drivetrains and shit are going to be locked. And so the idea is that, oh well, Mugen will just take over and continue developing it until 2025.
Well, I thought that the team principal at Red Bull, Christian Horner, saying that a lot of things have changed at Renault and it's a different ambience now and a different feel and different flavor, and we can
Hasn't
see that the
really.
engine. No, it has actually. The CEO has changed. So,
Oh,
but
but that even that woman is like, oh, I don't know the relevance of F1 really. Even
no,
she,
but at the end of the day, apparently, the management's changing. So I like Red Bull in the way they're just changing their position just ever so slightly. That if that was an option, we said that in the past. Like it's different people and blah 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 blah. So we can consider it as an option. It's just like business wise, it just makes a
yeah,
lot of sense to do this because they did not end the relationship in the best of terms.
yeah, I agree.
Um, but you know Honda leaving, and again, the relevance of that engine. This is not where, and it is linked to the regulations also, the development that you can make and how you can make them and all of that. I we talked about this before, Eric, where I was saying we should just remove all regulations for a year.
Yeah, well, see, that was the thing because
Just stop everything. Just let the engineers go crazy in what they can do. Just come back or come back with the fun cars. With
yeah,
with all of this, just do something. Just do okay, a regulation free, so that you can just go back from a blank sheet of paper after 1 year, looking at what everybody's doing. But I guess that would be really expensive. But the thing is, it would also be, you know, probably really good for teams like Williams, who have like a super R&D and super clever guys outside those rules and regulations, where they have a lot of patents for different things. I think McLaren would also be really good at that exercise.
yeah,
Just give them room to interpret, room to play.
yeah. And see, that's actually exactly what I was thinking
Don't
about.
write a Bible,
Yeah, this week
write a Quran.
I was but this
Seriously, Quran
yeah,
is much more open to interpretation than the Bible is.
yeah,
Having read not all of it, but some parts of it, there's a lot more left there to the imagination.
yeah.
Please give people back the imagination, especially those engineers coming up with
And that's what I was
all sorts of.
thinking. Like I was actually thinking, like you're right in saying that what is the future of Formula One, and I think there is a big future for Formula One, but I don't think it's going to be. That's all right. I don't think it's going to be what we think it is. Because when we're talking about the relevance, and I brought up the new CEO of Renault Group or whatever, um, she's right. I mean, Formula One is losing its relevance fast, and this is where I say, the
Not
Le
in
Mans.
terms of audience,
No,
but
but
yes,
as far as like a technological showcase, yes,
yes.
it's a technological showcase, but it has no relevance to the real road because anything that is truly innovative gets banned, you know? So when we're talking about stuff like that, that's where I go, well, if we're looking about what racing series is truly innovative, I would say, well, that's where the top tier of World Endurance Championship is because they develop things that are relevant and do actually do. There's a big long history of it. Make it to, um, make it to production cars, and whether those are available for people or whether they're industrial vehicles or whatever. This stuff does make it out into the general public.
Mm.
Things as simple as lighting. I mean, we're talking about. I know disc brakes and things came from Formula One. Is that correct?
Yeah,
Yeah, but there's a lot of technology that
but even
comes.
the turbo technology really got honed there, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, it's not to say that racing is irrelevant. It is literally a real world development. But like you said, the rules are so castrating that you can't really be innovative to the point where somebody may discover something that so puts you so far ahead that it is useful in the real world. So hello, Mario. But as I
How
was,
cool is this?
yeah, it's pretty cool. But I guess the next thing I was going to say is there's gonna be a huge
Guess
shift in
which pipe is taking care of?
uh
Sorry,
That's alright, but
you
I
were
guess
getting too serious.
yeah, but I guess the big shift will be when the combustion engine will go away, at least the
Hmm.
combustion engine in the form it is now. We don't know, everyone's moving electric, 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 and then
No, but what about a different? What about a different, dinosaurs, energy liquid? There's so many things we
yeah,
could
well,
do.
that's
Like
what I was saying,
it doesn't have to be, fuel. It could be biofuel. I
yeah,
mean, biofuel is the next one coming actually. But the
yeah.
thing is, what can we do else?
Yeah, I mean, I know Audi and Volkswagen have built their own refineries to develop new types of fuels as well.
Mm.
But I think what's going to end up happening is somebody's gonna develop some whiz bang fancy cost effective way to run hydrogen or manufacture it, store it, and use it in a vehicle. Um, that it's just going to make electric irrelevant.
I was. Uh, Yeah, I'm not sure. I think we're pretty much looking really at electric. And that
Yeah, but
there's a
hydrogen
company
is electric.
there, there. But the thing is, okay, electric is we say electric, but yeah, there are two components, right, of electrics mainly.
Yeah.
There's the motor, and then there's the, the capacitor or the batteries, right?
Mm.
And there's a company that apparently developed just recently and is able to produce to scale electrodes that actually are much better, that actually give out 4 times the power, no, so 4 times the longevity. Sorry, I don't remember. It's 4 times the power, I think it is, and then 10 times the longevity and everything. So we still are discovering many, many different ways of making it
No, it's all right.
better.
My headphones dropped out. Yeah, no, I mean, all of this stuff's really exciting, but I think the interesting thing about hydrogen is it doesn't actually fundamentally change the way we interact with them. Like filling up a car is much
Sure,
easier and
same
quicker
process, yeah.
than charging a battery in a car. So battery driven cars is the energy is stored in a battery, whereas with hydrogen cars the energy is in the hydrogen, which is easily pumped into the car under pressure, and it's actually there is layers of metallics that when they interact with hydrogen and the hydrogen passes through them, they produce a current, and it it converts that to electricity and goes to the motors. So ultimately, it is the same technology, and then the emission is just water when it's hydrogen. So these are all things that are very interesting, and I don't know which way it's going to go, but batteries, like energy storage in batteries, is a good thing, and I think that technology needs to keep growing. But that being said, I mean, um, energy storage in a raw material like hydrogen is actually more efficient.
Okay, let me share my screen. I found the article that I wanted to share with you, and that's this one.
Yeah,
They tripled density of lithium batteries. So this is a Slashdot, the
yeah,
website.
yeah.
I,
You've been
I I
looking at this for like 10 years. This site.
this site I've been looking at it for 20 years.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've always loved this website. It's just news for nerds, stuff that matters. The motto
Yeah.
itself is just so good. But anyway, they were able to develop high-tech electrodes um, that actually just make the batteries more efficient. Um,
Okay.
and yeah, they tripled the density of lithium batteries. So your battery that was giving out whatever. Uh, oh, Let me come back. That was giving out 9 hours of battery life. Basically, will give you 3 times that.
That's pretty
Um,
cool.
and it's only not only on the way they can or the then well the way they can give you that power for a longer time. It's also in the way that they can give you more power at one time,
Mm.
which is then interesting for us because if you can give up more power at one time to an electric engine, you can give it more torque,
Yeah,
which is
true.
what it's all about.
True.
So
Because
um,
right now the big battle is in range versus like
the
range
performance
range yeah, range versus
or
performance.
torque, which
Which
is it's all about.
yeah,
Yeah.
which technically is what happens in combustion engines, but the problem is we don't actually have a problem in getting range out of cars. If we want to get range out of, like, we got these days you can easily buy a car that will give you 1,000 kilometers on a tank, right? But no, but like before Dieselgate and everything like that.
Diesel, yeah.
Yeah, but
Diesel
you
cars,
you
yeah,
buy you
probably.
buy an A6, you get 1,000 kilometers out of it easy.
TDI.
Yeah, yeah. There's no problem doing that. Yeah,
Not easy, but you can get it, yes.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Exactly. But it's not unheard of.
If you live in a city, no. If you do city driving, no. But
Yeah,
no, those cars are pretty great. Actually, diesel is very good for this as well for the range.
yeah,
Now there's Mercedes actually came out with a seven and well, is saying or looking forward to bringing out a car that can do 750 miles on one charge,
yeah.
which is 1,200 kilometers, which is quite impressive.
Mm,
If we can, but let's be realistic. The only time I would do 1,200 kilometers on one charge would be when I go on holidays.
yeah,
For my commuting, that means that okay, I probably can do
yeah. Because
only
right
one
now,
charge per week.
because right now, like realistically speaking, electric cars are a luxury product, and even if you're talking about a cost-effective car like the Chevrolet, when they did a whole bunch of their electric cars.
But they're not in our countries. Electricity is so expensive in Indonesia and
Yeah,
in Thailand. It's so
yeah. I mean,
expensive.
even
Forget it.
even like in Australia, like I used to complain about electricity bills having to pay 6, 7, $800 a quarter. I'm paying $250 a month here.
Hmm.
You know, but
Yeah, it's
it's
just that
it's
we need to put
crazy.
things back into perspective because some
Yeah,
countries in France electricity costs nothing.
yeah, because it's reliable because they have so much nuclear energy.
Yeah, and it's
it's
just it's cheap, really
yeah,
cheap.
and like
Uh,
I don't care what any green, but this is not what I'm talking about. I don't care what any greeny activist says. Nuclear energy
You're
is
the impersonation of green hell.
yeah, but nuclear energy is the most efficient form of energy, and right now we're only at fission energy. So you can imagine when we step it up to fusion reaction, how efficient that's going to be.
It's going to be
So
really good. But the
yeah,
thing is, nuclear energy, everybody is against.
it, for,
Because it's like not green and blah blah blah. And I'm
yeah,
sorry, it's when you look at the CO2, production of a coal, which is what is mostly used in many countries,
yeah,
emerging countries like us, but a lot also in Australia. That is CO2 out of the atmosphere. It's
yeah. I
actually,
mean,
the consequences. Again, it's a big debate. There's many things to do. it's
yeah.
it's
I mean,
nuclear is, are we really sure that we're controlling it so well? Pff,
but see, that's the thing. All these, okay, we're not getting into this in this podcast, but fundamentally, if you want to talk about like for like, nuclear is more efficient and more green. End of, end of story. Right? It simply is. Like,
this
ask.
podcast is sponsored by Areva.
No, it just simply is, right? But
It is, it is, it is,
but now,
seriously it
but
is actually.
we live in an age where policy is driven by ideology and not
in the technology that
reality.
in the technology that we have currently, fact it is.
Yeah,
The thing is, you'll always have somebody saying, oh yes, but I don't like this. Oh yes, but I'm this and I don't want this and I don't want to listen to this. Now we're in a society where it is actually, um, the minority opinions are glorified,
yeah.
and it's just so annoying
It is because, I mean,
because you
there's
guys are slowing down the whole group.
yeah, because
Shut the fuck up.
there's things that are just fact and
Yeah,
have been fact for a long time.
fact.
And it's just
Get the
like,
rig. You're
yeah,
gonna have more fun.
exactly. Get a rig, you're gonna have more fun. Shut the
And
fuck up
stop
and let the
buying stop buying the fucking Apple of this world when you can have a One Plus that will do it as a quarter of the price. Well,
100,
no,
well,
maybe
half the
not a
price.
quarter,
Half,
but
no.
actually two-third of the price. For
Speaking of which,
or half of the
I
price.
need to replace mine.
Yeah, you do. You told me. But what I'm
Mine's
saying is that
more.
you don't have to. I'm just. Who was that girl who was like the voice of the whole world, and how dare you and blah blah
Uh,
blah. I did just shut the fuck up.
Greta
Seriously.
Thunberg. Miss,
Yeah, Thunderbird. You
yeah,
know.
Miss Fetal Alcohol Syndrome.
Oh, seriously. Come on. Just shut up. I mean, what? It's like criticizing for the sake of criticizing, but not bringing or just looking at what the solutions are. what
Yeah,
what do we have, you know in our toolbox to fix that thing?
yeah,
Right?
and,
It's we do
and
this all the time. Everybody does this all the time. Oh, I'm at home, I want to fix dinner. What do I have in my fridge to do it? Right?
yeah,
Why don't people just think like this a bit more instead of criticizing whoever is doing what?
yeah, exactly.
And
It's
fuck Trump.
I'm on the other side of the fence of that. I like Trump.
Oh man, I don't mind Trump. There's a few things that he does right. But seriously, when you look at him coming out of the hospital, the guy is a fucking retard.
That's fine. You can.
Freaking retard.
I don't care what people's opinions are. I
No, no,
mean,
no.
everyone can
Have
find
you
him.
listened to him talk?
Yeah, of course I've listened to him talk.
Like
But
when he.
I'm not oblivious to that he is an abrasive person. He kind of doesn't listen to what you're
No, but
saying and he says what he wants.
oh,
But
this medication is great. This medication actually, people say it's to help you, but you know what? It cured me. I don't kill it. I have different thing. I have a different view on this. This is great. People are great. This is great. We have the best people. But
come on.
you know what? I did this. I have this. I did this, and I had this medication. This medication is great, and I don't know how much option like you saying. Come on, I'm actually just doing the French translation of what he just did.
Yeah.
I'm gonna send you that video and that link. The guy
Yeah.
is a freaking aberration.
Yeah. I mean, I understand where you're coming from, but I also understand another factor is that people have got the attention span of goldfish. So normally people like to start interviews nicely, and he will just jump in and say what he wants and needs to say because he knows people aren't going to listen beyond a minute. And when we're talking about what if we understand that, I mean, the reality is I mean, if this, let's bring it back to cars. How frequently, when a bit of news comes out, are you looking at a headline and you don't get past maybe the first 2 or 3 sentences? For me, that's most of the time. And I can give you a perfect example recently, and you probably saw that article about Sebastian Vettel come out, and the headline was, "I picked fights I shouldn't have."
No, I haven't seen that
Okay, yeah.
headline.
So that
But I would
headline,
have read that
yeah, that
because it's Vettel.
headline. Hmm. But if you go to the Formula One YouTube channel, that was like a 1 hour interview they did with Sebastian Vettel, which was really great. I mean, it was really great to see what he
I
thinks.
saw it
And
on YouTube actually that there
yeah,
was an interview, but it was beyond the grade or something
yeah,
like
yeah,
this.
something like
I
that. And
didn't. Yeah,
yeah, when you've got a moment, you've got to watch it, because that literally
I saved
was,
it. I know I will watch it.
yeah,
I just saved it because I want my time to listen to it,
yeah.
carefully, like
Please
focus
do.
on it.
It's just audio. There's no visual to it at all, so you can just stick it on and listen. But in that interview, that was like a passing comment, and the whole discussion of what he was talking about Ferrari there was like less than a minute. But that became the headline that everyone grabbed. And I think a very similar thing happens in politics. And let's not just talk about US politics. I think politics all over the world. And even when
It's
it
all over the
and
world,
yeah,
but
and
that guy Trump is a dangerous guy. Uh, because of the way, I'm sorry, just the way he communicates is really, I sent you the link. Listen to him. It's
yeah,
just,
yeah, yeah. No,
man,
I've seen the
seriously,
interview.
like
It
doing
was,
this like this.
yeah, it was
There's
with,
absolutely no, um, there's no, there's no class. There's no,
yeah, yeah, I get it. Like,
oh
okay, you've had your rant now.
man,
My turn. I get what you're saying. Like, I completely understand what you're saying, because I understand that that's the main point. You're saying there's no class, and people expect a politician to act statesman-like, but he's not a politician, right? End of story. He just isn't a politician, right? Like, you or me could not be
you're coming back to the
right?
same. The thing is,
Right? But
he's in
I
a
think,
position of a politician, and we
okay,
expect a
okay.
little bit more from somebody
Yeah, yeah,
who is in there. Even if he was my CEO in the company, I would say, and you know what? He reminds me a lot of the previous CEO that I had.
yeah, yeah.
Actually, very like,
I
ooh, too many teeth in the mouth.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
The very American
No, look,
style.
I
But
understand what you're saying, and, where were we going with this even?
I don't know, regulations and
Oh, yeah, we're talking about power units, that's it. But yeah, you're right. I think, people trying to dictate or use some kind of fad thinking it's the savior, and it's because even the reality of the
I
situation is,
dictate. People dictate. You
yeah,
dictate.
yeah, but they don't really understand. Like, even when we're talking about energy density, it's like a 3-liter jug of petrol has more energy density than like 50 kilograms of batteries, by a huge amount. So I think when we're talking about things like that, it's like, yes, I
I
think
think I should pull my pens down. They should replicate this because that has so much energy
there's a lot of energy density in my nuts
and swagger.
and swagger. Yeah, but I mean, I think that where this started was what's going to happen with F1. And when it comes to F1, I genuinely think that there's going to be a huge shift in power units, and
Oh man,
I
what a
think
detour! What a
yeah, what a
detour!
detour. But I think they know when it's going to happen, right? I think it's going to be another 10 years. And what will essentially happen is, look, we're going to switch to an engine technology which is
But
that has never been in this series before.
and
And
yeah,
what we are going to basically do is all the regs are going to change. So you've
and I
got
hope
2
they
years
do, and
to
I hope
play.
they
Yeah,
do
yeah,
soon. But the thing is, right now they're talking about 2025
yeah,
with the with the biofuels and things like this, right? Um, the thing is, right now in 2021 we're losing Honda.
yeah,
That means in the end we have three engine suppliers, which means what's going to be the decision? It has consequences. Verstappen might leave Red Bull if he does. That means Red Bull might actually, you know, pull out. That would be two team. It might be the end of Formula One, is what I'm saying. Is because they're not seeing the
Yeah.
they have to react to this. They have to see it in a different way. They have to be a little bit innovative. And again, as I said, maybe one way to do it is deregulate instead of
Yeah,
regulating.
I agree. And like I look at a lot of the other teams. So sorry, a lot of the other series. So I think what endurance racing is certainly one that continues to bring big names in terms of manufacturers to the field. But I also think it's Formula E. Now I know a lot of people have mixed things to say about it, but with Formula E, you have
Formula E
Porsche.
is great.
Yeah, you have Porsche, you have Mercedes, you have
No,
Jaguar, you have, and
no,
then
but the racing is unbelievable.
it's
The
good,
racing is
and the
unbelievable. It's
drivers are
just it is
incredible.
not. It is still not broadcast at the right time. It is not advertised the right way.
Yeah.
I don't know when the next race is unless I go onto the website. I have to make the effort. It's not coming to me
Mm.
as an
I
information.
think I have to make a conscious effort to start following that because a
Yeah, but
lot of
that's the thing.
a
A
lot of
conscious
my
effort. And
yeah,
the problem is exactly this. But the racing is unbelievable. For
yeah,
me, it's as good as, if not better, than the Australian V8. I love the
yeah,
racing in Australian V8. It's like there's a group, they start, it's like it's a chain. And there's it's a
it's a
chain from the first lap to the
yeah, it's a contact
500
sport.
laps. It's
Yeah.
yeah, it's I love this. And it is the same thing in Formula E. So
Yeah,
we have that
and
excitement.
that's the thing, like, one of my favorite drivers, Andre Lotterer, he races in Formula E, and it's
Jean-Eric Verne,
Jean-Eric Vert, Felipe Massa is in Formula 1, you
Formula
know
E. Yeah. Yeah.
Formula E, sorry, yeah, yeah, it's just, like, the caliber of drivers in Formula E is
Eh,
freaking great.
they don't have exactly the caliber of drivers. There's nothing. They're second to none. I mean,
Mm,
okay, Formula One, but I mean, seriously, same level. And again, it's for me, it's the time. What time do they do? The race and all of that.
mm,
It's not convenient. They should do it the same time as they should not be shy of actually competing with Formula One.
no.
Because the thing is, Jean Todt and Ecclestone and all those guys, they missed the coach when they did this. To separate those two.
Yeah,
So don't be shy. You're not a brainchild or like the little sister or whatever of Formula One. You should compete with it straight. And it is such a good racing, actually.
yeah.
Such
I
good
mean,
racing.
the last race for Formula E, I just looked it up, was in Berlin, and it was in August. We're in October now. Long time
Ah,
ago, you know? But, I mean, I look at the standings. I mean, Jean-Eric Verne
this we
is
cannot
third.
judge 2020. I mean,
You've got
seriously, we cannot judge.
Sebastian Buemi in the championship as well. I mean, that
Yeah,
guy's won Le Mans. Like, it's
yeah. I mean, the people,
Stoffel Van Dorn is in
yeah,
there too.
Stoffel is in there. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
You didn't know?
No, I
I
didn't realize
actually know. I
Stoffel
actually
Van
know
Dorn.
all those guys. Jean-Eric Verne is a two-time world champion in Formula E.
Yeah, and Rene Rast is there from DTM.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean,
No, you have some really great talent in there. I mean, as I said, it's on par. The talent that is in there is on par with Formula One.
I
Okay,
mean, we've
maybe a little behind because in Formula One you have people like Verstappen who are just
yeah.
like once in a generation kind of talent. But yeah,
I mean,
you know what I mean.
I think genuinely we need to start doing some, like, commentary streams on Formula E. And you know what the really fun thing was? Like, Formula E was actually gonna be in Jakarta this year in June, and obviously COVID
Actually,
happened,
we
so
should we should stop Formula. There's enough people talking and covering a Formula One. We
yeah.
should do Formula E. I agree.
Yeah.
Let's do it different.
Let's learn a new racing series, let's learn new drivers, let's follow,
Great idea,
and I
Steve.
and I think it's actually streamed free as well, so, I mean, we can send people to the stream link and do that, Like, I think it'll be
Instead of
fun.
Steve Jobs, I'm gonna call you Steve Blow. It's
Steve
perfect.
Lowe.
Steve Blow job. It's
Fantastic.
perfect.
I think after this podcast that we arrived literally as the starting.
It's gonna explode, man. It's gonna
Yeah.
explode.
This podcast that we started today, as the starting soon screen was running and everyone was joining or not joining, whatever you're doing. The funny thing was, Julian and I were just sitting there going, "The fuck are we going to talk about?" Like, because there's no race, there was no car launches, there was nothing big controversial thing happening, and we're just like,
And let's be honest, you're very uninteresting.
"Yeah, I know. I mean,
So it's
I
just
go, I like." I go on a date with a girl and I just intensely stare at her until she cries. No.
until she feels so uncomfortable. Wanna fuck? Okay.
Yeah, it's either do you want to fuck, or it's like, it's all right, I got the bill, so they
And
can
your
leave.
answer is like, yeah, how much?
Yeah, it's like, I want to make sure you leave in the morning. I have important racing to do.
I watched this. I don't out of nowhere. I was watching this thing, and what would you call a couple, looking in the same direction? And that guy answered doggy style. And I was like, yeah,
That's a fucking
it's
great
so good.
answer. That's a
It's
great
just a,
answer.
yeah, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, yeah,
I love
yeah.
that.
What a good answer. That's fantastic. I love it.
Couple, both of
But
them
but
looking in the
yeah.
same direction.
Well, I think on that really, like, fantastic joke, actually, I'm gonna have to use that. But if on that fantastic joke, how about we call the podcast there and we go and do some racing? How's that sound?
Oh yeah,
Let's do that.
stream
So,
it or don't, but let's do that. Yes,
yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna stream it because I gotta move all this shit and the lighting and whatever else. But
I don't care.
yeah, but thank you everybody for joining us to this
No, I mean I don't
afternoon.
care about your life. But let's go racing.
You're wonderful, Julian. So thank you everybody for joining us this afternoon. If you're watching on YouTube on Monday morning, please remember to like, share, subscribe to the podcast. It does help. I think Julian and I are going to actually start covering Formula E a little bit more because,
Yeah, I
again,
think that's
it
what we
is an
should do.
exciting series.
Yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
So let's start doing that. See you, everybody. Have a good afternoon.